This street right here was basically our playground. You know, as you can see, there's no cars coming. And this is where I got my name, Freeway, from this street right here, because we play football out here in the streets. And so everybody associated the Freeway with us. And so we became the Freeway Boys. I mean, man, we used to strip cars right here. You know, we would go get a car and take everything off of it right here. The motor, the bumper, the transmission, everything right here. When I started selling drugs, we used to have lines of cars just coming down the street here, until my mom was just like, "Hey boy, you gotta get out of my house." So, man, I got a lot of fun memories here, and that's why I wanted to bring you by and let you see, you know, what I saw as coming up as a kid.
Now, was the Freeway built this big as it is now back when you was doing your thing right here?
No, they expanded it.
Were there ever houses on this side?
Yeah, to be exact, my mom's house probably sit maybe right in here somewhere. Because when they expanded the Freeway, they moved the street over and they bought houses from the people.
This was always flour?
It's always flour, yeah. One time, you know, we started to call ourselves the Flour Boys.
That doesn't sound too tough.
Well, you know what, we really wasn't really tripping on the toughness. You know, we were more like wanted to protect our little community right here. You know, we didn't want, you know, even though the Hoover Crips was our friends, we didn't really want that activity spilling over into this little area right here. When I started going up to Churchy's, hanging out at Churchy's Chicken, and I saw these guys in these cars that was just like Hernandez, I mean, it's like straight out of a magazine. Well, I wanted one of those cars. I was about 17 years old, and I wanted one of those cars. So when I started hanging out with the guys who had the cars, I started finding out the things that they were doing to get the cars. And one of the things that they were doing was stealing cars. And as I drove for them for a while, I learned how to not only drive them, but then I started starting them, you know, meaning stealing the car, because at first I wasn't stealing the car, I was just the driver. They would steal it, and they would give it to me, and then I would drive it home for them. Well, I went from there to learn how to start it, learn how to take all the parts off of it, and then I started learning how to put the parts back on another car. So here, I mean, here we would jack a car up, we would do it like it was our own car. You know, you're talking about some young kids who had never been to jail, and you know, we felt that we was the smartest people in the world. You know, we felt that we could bring a car here, take the license plates off of it, and nobody would know whose car it was. And then we would just go to work on it. But it wouldn't take us long to break a car down. You know, we could break a car down like that. Maybe, you know, an hour and a half, the whole car's broke down. But don't get me wrong, though, it's been times when the whole area is surrounded by police, the helicopter. You know, see, it used to be a tunnel right here. And what we would do also is we would strip cars on the other side of the tunnel. And over there, we wouldn't be so careful as we would be right here. Right here, it was a little easier. So one time we was over there stripping a car, and the police helicopter came and, you know, laid everybody down, and it was just crazy.
Well, I can't really imagine just having stolen cars parked all over here and getting away with it. I mean, like today, you couldn't do that.
No, you couldn't do it today. Unless you knew all the neighbors. And all the neighbors like you, and you know, and don't want to see you get in any trouble. See, and that's what I felt about the drug business as well. See, all these neighbors allowed me to sell drugs because they knew I was selling drugs. I mean, one time, let me tell you what happened one time. One time I had some drugs, and I was at my mom's house, and I had to make a run somewhere, and I didn't want to leave the drugs in my mom's house. So what I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna throw the drugs over the fence into my neighbor's yard and have a rope hanging where I could just reach over and pull the rope up and get the drugs out of her yard. Well, anyway, she found the drugs. So I come back and I'm looking for my drugs and they're not there. And this is like, I don't know, like $300,000 worth of drugs, right? So my mama see me in the backyard, and she's like, "Oh, what you doing? You looking for that bag?" I'm like, she's like, "Yeah, Mary Joyce say to tell you that she got that bag." So I go over there, and I gotta go and ask my neighbor for my drugs back, right?
Now, this whole battle with the rapper Rick Ross, the case got dismissed state court, got dismissed federal court. Then you got a judge to say, let's take the case forward, and then they changed their mind. What's going on with this situation?
Well, right now we on appeal. We're waiting for a decision from the California Supreme Court. You know, hopefully it comes back with a favorable decision. They say I should have filed my case 5 days before I got out of prison, but by me not doing that, it messed up my statute of limitations. So that's the issue that we arguing right now. Did I have the statute of limitations run out on my rights to file the lawsuit?
Now, if you're incarcerated, does the statute of limitations treat it exactly the same for everyone else?
I'll give you 2 more years. But you know, I did 14 years on my last bit, so.
So when does the date start on something like this? Because he's been recording. I mean, what's the start date to where they know what the statute of limitations is?
We never figured that out. We tried to figure that out in court. The law says that when the general public becomes aware, we was trying to figure out what was the general public. She said that the day that he was first played on one radio station in Miami was the general public. We disagree with her. And then there's another case that's out called Cristal that says if the person republishes the name, then the statute of limitations starts all over again. We believe that every album that he puts out is a republication. Every time he goes on the radio, we believe that's a republication. Every time that he does a magazine article, we believe it's a new publication. Every time he does a concert, we believe it's a republication. But she said no.
How do your lawyers feel about the case going forward?
They feel that their arguments is strong and solid, but at the same time, you know, when you go to court, you don't know how you're gonna come out. It's a toss-up. It used to be really expensive to get it cooked up. Say if you went and bought an 8-track, which was around $350 for, really was about a gram of cocaine, the person would charge you maybe $150 to cook it up.
We out here getting money. Bands, real bands. Don't fit in my wallet, so I just, you know, keep it in a little band.